Hey everyone, I cannot stand to look at the zinnias out on my back deck anymore, so they have got to go. I have my work shirt on, I'm ready to start pulling not only my zinnias that don't look great anymore with all the powdery mildew, but I'm also going to empty out some containers that aren't set up to drip that might still look kind of okay because we are headed out of town for 2 weeks, and it's going to be around the time when I would probably be transitioning to a fall garden anyway. And our cat sitter usually comes out and waters anything not on drip. I don't want to have a ton of pots for her to water that I'm probably just going to pull after we get back. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those now. And whenever I pull something that still looks good, I think is it like the art of tidying up or whatever with Marie Kondo. I think you're supposed to like thank something that you're trying to let go. So I just like to thank my flowers for a beautiful season before I pull them out and destroy them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll kind of give you an idea of what I know I'm going to pull, what I think I'm going to pull, and then we're just going to start going from there. So what's definitely going are my giant Benary zinnias in that bed along with the asters in that bed because they had really bad scale and they just haven't done much since. So I'm going to pull those. I think the center bed is going to stay as it is. And then same thing in the left bed, pulling the asters and the giant Benary zinnias. The asters, I don't know, maybe I'll leave one. Like they should still bloom this far into the season. They just had a lot of pest issues. A little bit of powdery mildew, but more so scale. Something was laying eggs on them. They just seem kind of stunted now. So those I think I'm going to pull too. The queen lime zinnias right here, this one is hard because they're still putting out a lot of blooms. I mean, all of them are. And does a good job of kind of blocking or giving some like layers to the bed right in front of it, so, or the bed right behind it. So I don't know, that's a maybe. I think I'm also going to pull my silver wave petunias because again, these look good, but they're not set up to drip. I think it's going to be time to say goodbye. And also the petunias up here. These two have had budworms on and off. They're still blooms, but I think I'm over it. This one is a maybe because it still looks much better. I don't know, we'll kind of see where the day takes me here. Now, something that is a little bit more difficult for me than probably the average gardener gardening in their yard is getting rid of garden waste. So I do have a composter up here. It's a small tumbler composter out on this deck. It's full. So what I do is I bag up my garden waste and I take it downstairs and I either put it into the trash. So that's what I'm going to do with anything that has powdery mildew on it, because I always just want to be extra safe if I'm going to put something in a bag to be composted. Some things I read say powdery mildew is fine, some said it's not, so I'd rather err on the side of caution. So that will go directly in the trash. And then anything that does not seem to have any issues with disease, like my petunias, that's going to go in a separate bag, and then that's going to be put downstairs next to the garbage bags. And then if you're in Chicago, the 311 app, you can request a yard waste pickup, and then they will take those bags to be composted. But just make sure you don't put them in the trash, or else they will go with the garbage man. So that's going to be the plan. Now we'll go ahead and start cleaning. I'm like looking at it right now, it's hard. I am planning to fill these beds with a few more plants for fall, which I'm going to grab some more in a couple days, but I want to get an idea of how empty things look to then decide how many plants I need. So let's go ahead and pull some plants. Coming in for this bed first, because I think this looks just slightly more sad than the other one. I need my scissors to cut all of the twine from where I was sticking it up with the sunflower stalks, which I guess I can remove those too, or maybe I'll leave them for now. Figure out what I want to do with those. This is hard but necessary. So I like to cut off the giant stalks first, and then I'll pull out the root ball by whatever's left on it. And I don't think there's any flowers on there to save. I did harvest a bunch of flowers. Was it just yesterday? I think it was just yesterday. I'll probably try to save that flower, but tossing you over there for now. Whew. Yeah, this is already looking empty. Sunflower stalks I'm going to save. Just stab them there. This echinacea I got on sale is not looking great, but I'm going to leave that for now too. And let's see if I can get out the root balls without harming the plants next to it. I just try to get off as much dirt as I can, because not only does that keep the beds fuller, but it makes it much lighter weight inside of the garbage bags, because that's one thing I have to be concerned about, is not making the bags too heavy so that I can't carry them. And then I have to tell my husband to carry them. Yeah, there's just scale all over these asters. All right, should I leave this one? If they don't see any scale, I will leave you. If I do see scale, I'm going to pull you. I actually don't know if I see any on this one, so maybe you get to stay. But you, I think, are in pretty bad shape too with the scale. Maybe? You know what, I might just trim off some of the older blooms. Maybe I'll leave this one too for now. Which is a surprise, because I thought this one also had scale, but I really don't see any. So maybe it was just the one next to it, and the scale didn't make it over here. Although I should keep an eye out for that, but it's so late in the season, it's, you know, kind of stopped caring about actually treating diseases and just let whatever pest or disease take over that wants to. These zinnias and this aster is next, so aster should be easy enough to get out of there. And then these I'm going to keep. I'm going to take all the leaves off. I'm going to keep and dry them. And then I can use them in the fall and winter for projects. I can take out these pots I've been using to keep things propped up. Excuse me, Bumblebee, I have to take these. Right, it is time now to pull the super petunia up here. And this one's going in the bag for composting, because I don't think there are any sort of issues with it. So thank you so much for a lovely year. Ooh, you know what might be nice up here? Maybe some mums would look pretty. Whole root ball coming? All right. All right, one down. Absolutely no soil left in there. You next. Thank you so much. These are leaving a lot more soil behind. So there were 2 in here. I thought for some reason I overstuffed with 3. There we go. All right, this one is for sure the hardest because it still looks, oh, so good, but it is time. Thank you, beautiful flowers. Oop, broke you right off the root ball. There we go. And there we go. Silver wave petunias are next. And whatever else might be left in here that was also swallowed up by the silver wave petunias. I think this was, oh yeah, the smitten double, Super Bell's double smitten pink. Into the bag. One empty pot for something, and time to empty the other one. Oh, here's what it was, the, oh yeah, Super Bell's double smitten pink. Proud of myself for remembering that, even though it's been buried under the silver wave petunias for so long. And you see how much of the soil I'm very messily taking off of the root ball, because I can use that, especially for fall planting, just refresh it with some granular fertilizer and some compost. And this bag for the compost, I think, is full. I'm not going to tie it yet, but it's getting just to the point where I can still pretty easily carry it. Let's put you over here. Now, I know most people aren't in a situation like mine where you necessarily have to bag up your garden waste and carry it through your home in order to get it out. But here are some tips that I've learned over the last few years when I have not done it properly and the bag is torn open going down my staircase inside the house, which is not fun. So first of all, any of, especially the hard stems, can very easily poke through the garbage bag. So when I have a stem sticking out of my root ball, I cut as close as I can and get that off the root ball so that it's not going to stick through the bag. Also, this is why, like I said, I try to get as much dirt as I can off of it, because that way this is going to be lighter weight. If when you're digging up your plants and it's very wet with the soil, I will also just let that sit on my deck in a few days of the sun. That'll dry out the soil, it'll be easier to remove, and it makes it, again, more lightweight once that water has all evaporated from the soil. So in this case, that was all like relatively, not dry, but not super wet and damp. All right, hat's coming off because I feel like it's almost so windy that having the hat is making it harder to garden. So what I will also do is I'm not just going to stick this into the garbage bag, because the longer the stems, the easier they are to stick up and also poke holes through the bag. So I'm just going to cut into small pieces, or at least smaller than it was, because again, this is going to be less likely to poke through the bag. So with the tender growth at the end, it's not as much of an issue, but with the stiffer growth, that definitely can poke through. Also, to make it a little easier, I can just chop it directly into the garbage bag. I feel like I need a hair tie. I don't usually tie my hair up in the garden because I'm wearing my hats. But when the hats are blowing around and off of my head, probably should have grabbed a hair tie. But that's too far away now, and I'm in the middle of this project. All right, we're attempting hat back on. I feel like as soon as I take off the hat, the wind kind of stops, and then when I put it back on, the wind picks up again. Almost like it knows what it's doing. All right, so keep chopping away at these, and here's another one with the root ball, and this one's pretty thick at the end, so I'm just gonna go as close as I can. There we go, root ball in the bag, dirt in my face, and keep chopping away. It might take a little bit, but it's definitely worth it compared to having the bag rip open, like I said, inside of your house, and then having to clean up that mess instead. Okay, everything that I was going to pull is pulled and cleaned up. It actually doesn't look quite as empty as I was expecting. I mean, there are still some holes, but not as big of a change as I thought it might be. So in this bed, zinnias are gone. I left 2 of the asters, but pulled 1. I did put in the celosia that I got last week. To pop in there. I could probably pop something in that space right next to it, but maybe just get one thing for this bed. I'm leaving the on sale echinacea for now, just to see how it continues to do, but I might pull that too. I decided against pulling the queen lime right now, just because again, I do like those layers. I'm not ready for those to go. Then we have the bed back here. So this one I pulled 3 zinnias, and I think there was just 1 aster left. So this one definitely has more empty space, so maybe 2 plants here. But look at that, Super Petunia Vista, still looking really good. I love that. And then up here I pulled all of those. It looked empty at first, but now I don't feel like it looks that bad. I don't know if I'm actually going to replace anything in there for fall or just leave those empty. And then I had these 2 pots, which had the wave petunias. I usually do bulbs in these, so I'll probably just leave these empty until I get my bulbs and then plant those in here. But yeah, I think probably next up on the list, oh, so that bag there, that's the garbage bag. This is the compost bag. And then next on the list will probably be these zinnias at some point, and then the bed right behind that is going to be more bulbs. So I will have to empty that out sometime in October. I was expecting more dirt on my face, but actually it doesn't look too bad. I definitely ate some dirt and got some in my eye. It was just slightly more windy up here than I would prefer when working in the garden, but yeah, I'm shocked that it doesn't feel as empty as I thought it was going to feel having removed all of that. But that is the beginning of the clean out of my back deck garden for fall planting. I definitely have some things I'm going to pull on the front, but it doesn't look as bad on the front as it did back here. So I might leave those for another week or two. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I'm going to pick up some fall plants in the next couple days, put those in these beds, maybe some of the things out front. My goal is to not plant any more pots that don't have drip to them, just to make it as easy as possible for the cat sitters slash plant waterers for when we're out of town. So that's going to be everything. Let me know if you've pulled any of your zinnias or anything else yet to make room for fall planting, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.